FARISHA binti PAUZI, mathematics number 15769. I am third year student of medical physics from school physics, and my role is as a scriptwriter and presenter.
Hi, my name is FARISHA binti and my matric number is 158001, and I am a third year student of medical physics and I am editor.
The Chernobyl disaster was a catastrophic nuclear accident that occurred on April 26, 1986 at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in Pripyat, Ukrainian SSR, Soviet Union, which is now known as Ukraine. It is considered one of the worst nuclear disasters in history. The disaster occurred during a late-night safety test in the 4th reactor of the plant, which is known as Chernobyl 4. The Chernobyl nuclear power plant had 4 RBMK-1000 reactors, a design known for its inherent instability at low power levels. The first 2 reactors became operational in the late 1970s. The 4th reactor was the newest, going online in 1983. On April 26, 1986, technicians prepared to test the backup cooling system in reactor number 4, but the routine safety drill went horribly wrong. A nuclear reactor is like a giant steam engine. Uranium fuel rods react to produce massive amount of heat that converts water into steam, which drive huge turbines to generate electricity. Control rods are inserted between the uranium to slow the reaction, and it's important for cooling water to be pumped around the core to prevent overheating. But as the test began, almost all of the control rods were removed, and technicians lost control of the flow of the coolant. Extreme heat began to melt the core. At 1:23 a.m., reactor number 4 exploded. The explosion destroyed the reactor building and released a plume of radioactive particles, including iodine-131, cesium-137, and strontium-90. The immediate impact in this accident is 2 plant workers died on the night of the explosion, and 29 more died within the following months due to the acute radiation sickness. The nearby city of Pripyat, home to plant workers and their families, was evacuated. The evacuation began about 36 hours after the initial explosion. Radioactive fallout from the explosion spread across Europe, affecting large areas of Ukraine, Belarus, Russia, and other parts of Europe. The contamination led to restriction on agricultural activities, such as the consumption of locally produced food. The most significant long-term health impact has been increased incidence of thyroid cancer, particularly among those who were children at the time of the disaster. The radioactive iodine released in the explosion concentrated in the thyroid gland of exposed individuals. Other health effects include an elevated risk of certain cancers, particularly leukemia, and non-cancerous diseases related to radiation exposure. After the explosion happens, efforts were made to contain the radioactive releases. A massive concrete structure known as sarcophagus was constructed to encase the damaged reactor to prevent more radiation from spreading, while the remaining 3 reactors continued to operate due to energy shortage in Ukraine. In the year 2000, the Chernobyl complex was completely shut down. In 2016, a new, more stable structure called the New Safe Confinement (NSC) was placed over the original sarcophagus. This large arch-shaped structure was designed to prevent more further releases of radioactive materials and allow for the eventual dismantling of the original reactor. The Chernobyl exclusion zone, covering a 30-kilometer radius around the power plant, was established. This is to restrict access to the contaminated area and to prevent human exposure to the radiation. The city of Pripyat remains abandoned and serves as a haunting reminder of the disaster. but it has become an unintentional wildlife sanctuary. Despite the radiation, various species of animals, including wolves, deer, and boars, have flourished in the absence of human activity. Lesson learned. The Chernobyl disaster highlighted the importance of a safety culture in operation of nuclear facilities. It emphasized the need for robust safety protocols, comprehensive training for personnel, and international cooperation in managing the aftermath of nuclear accidents. The Chernobyl disaster remains a pivotal movement in the history of nuclear energy, shaping global perspective on nuclear safety and influencing policies and practices in the decades that followed.